So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K25 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of our off-season rebuild series. Today it's going to be the Dallas Mavericks. I don't think the word frustrating even begins to get to nearly the levels of anger that Dallas Maverick fans are probably feeling after the season they just had. Of course, coming off a finals appearance a year before, it was one of the great seasons in the history of Dallas Maverick basketball. And then they trade a guy by the name of Luka Doncic to the Lakers for, again, what at this point we are pretty much figuring out was no goddamn reason. So I've given a lot of my thoughts on the Luka deal. Of course, we're going to mention it from time to time, but this is strictly a Dallas Mavericks offseason rebuild today. Obviously, Nico Harrison made the move that he made. We have obviously already given a lot of our thoughts on that, both on this channel and both on Twitter. So we're not going to hammer, about a guy who's not here today. It is obviously one of the biggest idiotic things I have ever seen, and I, to this day, will never understand the rationale of it. But we have a team here today that obviously we are going to try to rebuild, hopefully get this team back to the finals and eventually get them a championship. We will discuss the personnel and what this roster is currently looking like and kind of what I'm thinking about moving forward into the 3 years of this video. But before we do, as always, let me know any other rebuild ideas down below in the comment section. We are slowly but surely making our way through these off-season rebuilds, doing about 2 a week at this point. I think eventually, once more and more teams do get eliminated, I'm going to look to maybe get this up to 3 of these a week. So we're at this point in time only doing teams that have officially been eliminated from postseason contention. And again, after round 1 comes to an end, we will definitely have more. So let me know which one you want to see next down below in the comment section, along with any other video ideas you guys got for me. But yeah, Mavericks fans, I feel bad for you. And it's not often that I genuinely feel like bad for an opposing fan base. But oh my God, I genuinely am at a loss for words. It's bad. Let's get into it. We now find ourselves here in the 2025 offseason. Of course, it'll be very interesting to see, how Nico Harrison and the Dallas Mavericks do approach this offseason. Is there another star player they may try to trade for? Maybe a Kevin Durant? I don't know if that's really a possibility given, what the rest of their assets look like, but it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to swing for one of the big names that will eventually become available. So let's just get into it. It was obviously the season from hell. There's no way to sugarcoat it. It was an absolute disaster. Any way you spin it. It was just an absolute nightmare, and it went from bad to worse about as fast as it possibly could have. So, yeah, thankfully, Mavericks fans, in today's video, I'm your GM, not Nico fucking Harrison. Oh, my God. All right, let's start out here at the point guard spot. Kyrie Irving tearing his ACL sucks. There's no way to kind of make that into a positive. It sucks. It absolutely unequivocally sucks. Of course, him and Anthony Davis never really got to play together very much. So Kyrie, I think, is expected back by next February here in 2K in an unrealistic rebuild where we play with injuries off. Kyrie will be playing, all games here in today's video. So yeah, it says he's injured at this point in time. I'm obviously going to turn that off. Behind him, Spencer Dinwiddie, Brandon Williams, who actually was an okay addition, and then Jaden Hardy. 3 names that are okay role pieces. I don't know if any of them will ever turn into anything super special, especially not Dinwiddie, but at this point in time, we're probably going to continue to kind of just figure it out behind Kyrie. Another shooting guard spot, Klay Thompson. Question: if Klay Thompson knows that Luka was getting traded, do you think he still signs with Dallas? My guess is probably not. So at this point in Klay's career, he's an all right role player. He certainly has his games where he still looks like a very capable shooter. He's certainly not as consistent as he once was. He's certainly not the player he once was. I have no idea what my plan is with him here today. It's probably not going to be a very long tenure here for Klay. Behind him, we got Dante Exum. Max Christie here as well, of course, was one of the pieces they got in the Luka Doncic deal. The small forward spot with PJ Washington and Najee Marshall, who actually was probably one of the better things that Dallas did in the past year. Obviously, Najee Marshall was a nice free agent addition after losing Derrick Jones Jr. to the Clippers. So, we'll sort out what we're going to do there. The power forward spot, of course, Anthony Davis, was hurt pretty much as soon as he got to Dallas. Missed a big chunk of games, ended up coming back. Did do some really, really nice things in that first play-in game against Sacramento. And then again, they kind of just lost it and kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit against Memphis. So, Anthony Davis is still a really good player. Again, I'm not going to harp on the trade too much. What's done is done. The stupidity is obviously still very much there. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on Anthony Davis moving forward. Now, whether that's warranted or not, that's not really, the point at this time. Anthony Davis has to be the guy moving forward for you. You obviously have to find a way to get him back to those levels that he was at maybe in the bubble, maybe a couple years after that. So it's going to be about health for him moving forward. Obviously today we don't have to worry about that, but he's 32, he's 95 overall, and is now obviously the face of Dallas Maverick basketball. Behind him we have Caleb Martin. Not really such a great trade when you look at how Quentin Grimes is looking for Philadelphia, and then you got Omax here as well. The center spot, I'll be interested to see what they do at this position this offseason. I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel Gafford was a guy that they moved 1 year remaining on his deal. Ultimately, I do think it's going to be Derek Lively's position moving forward. Not that it, isn't at this point, but he's a guy they want to build around. And I think they have to find a way to, obviously they're not going to get a guy that is as good as Luka, in terms of facilitating the basketball, but Derek Lively kind of looked night and day when Luka was there and when Luka isn't. So you can make that case for a lot of centers that have really talented point guards, but I don't know. I'd like to see Derek Lively, step it up a little bit eventually. I know he was injured as well, like pretty much everybody here. And then Dwight Powell, who I believe is the longest tenured Dallas Maverick at this point. So that's the team. It's the team. It's not horrible. It's not great. And of course, we're going to be very, very kind of optimistic with this because we have 3 years to win a championship, and there's obviously an okay foundation here. So let's get into offseason number 1 here. You can see some pretty notable retirements here. Nothing here really surprising me too much. Hall of Fame, LeBron, CP3, jersey retirements, draft lottery. Technically, Dallas will be in the lottery, I think, in this scenario, this offseason sim, this one saved file that I've had. I think they actually made the playoffs. So we're going to have our first round pick. It's going to be at number 16. It's probably like 13, 14 in real life. I don't really know, but we have our first round pick. I know that. Jason Kidd, I think he's an okay head coach. I think coaches tend to look better when they have better players. So, I think he's all right. And the ratings are okay enough to the point where I definitely don't need to fire him, but we do have 1 year remaining on his deal, so we will make that decision next offseason. So at this point in time, we have the 16th overall pick. There's not a lot here. Again, it's such malpractice to the point that not only did you trade, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get into it, but not only did you trade Luka Doncic, but you didn't even fucking put him out there. You didn't even discuss with any other teams. You basically just handed him to the Lakers for nothing. And I don't get it. I still think there's something bigger going on there. I cannot for the life of me understand how somebody in a franchise and an ownership group, that fat fucking owner for Dallas drives me crazy. And I don't like that. My team beat Dallas last year. I have nothing against them. God, his stupid fucking face pisses me off. All right, we're going to do something here. I considered a couple different trades, but ultimately decided we are just going to draft somebody at number 16. Hugo Gonzalez sitting here, Asa Newell, Rasheer Fleming, Jace Richardson. I think Hugo Gonzalez actually develops quite nicely. So he's going to be my pick there, 6'6" out of Spain. He's going to be a 74 overall for us. Team player options, yes, on Lively. Kyrie actually declines his player option even with the injury. I haven't turned it off yet. And no surprise that 72 overall, Dwight Powell picked up his player option. So I definitely want to find a way to get Kyrie back on this team. I am not sure. Where is he? He's right here. He has 19 offers still at this point. None of them are, any sort of serious offer. I am curious what he's asking for. He still wants some sort of full guaranteed deal, so I'm going to give it to him. I'm not going to let Kyrie Irving walk out the door. So we're going to welcome him back. Kessler Edwards is a guy I think could be a nice role piece, so I will extend him. Now, whether or not he's actually in this rotation, fully playing, very much up in the air. But we're going to bring back Kyrie Edwards. I think I'm fully comfortable with letting Dinwiddie and Exum just kind of walk at this point, and we now have to make some trades. We have to find upgrades. There's no way around that, so let's get into it. We're swinging a deal here with the Boston Celtics. Yes, kind of funny considering the history between these two teams. It's not a long history, but obviously they played a finals. We're sending out Daniel Gafford, Klay Thompson, and Brandon Williams. Now, I understand that all three of these players are relatively important to this team, but I think Derek White is a very nice upgrade in this starting five, of course, at the shooting guard spot. Klay Thompson was never really longed for this team. I was actually kind of surprised he didn't retire after this offseason. He tends to do that here in 2K, so yeah, we're going to add Derek White to this team, also getting Sam Hauser in this deal. And then I think losing Gafford does kind of hurt, but ultimately I'm really looking to give that center spot fully to Derek Lively. Don't want anything there, and Gafford is expiring. So Derek White, welcome to the team. If you don't watch Derek White, you don't know much about him. He's a very good player. Next trade we're going to make is another blockbuster here with the New York Knicks. We are sending PJ Washington, newly acquired Sam Hauser, Olivier Maxence Prosper, and Jaden Hardy all to New York, and in return, getting ourselves OG Anunoby. Now, I don't have a problem with PJ Washington. I think he's a fine player, especially in those playoffs in 2024. Really stepped up for this Dallas team and was a nice fit, but he's also expiring. OG Anunoby is an upgrade. We're also getting a first-round draft pick from the Wizards that technically will not be ours because I respect pick protections, but, kind of clearing out some of the overwhelming depth we do have, adding some better players, I think it is a really good option at this point. So, we've really created an identity here, especially defensively. You now look at this starting five. I'd say 4 out of the 5 guys now in this lineup are really solid, above average, if not elite defensive players. So we do need to find ourselves a new backup point guard at this point behind Kyrie Irving. At the shooting guard spot, it's going to be interesting here what we do. Of course, we did just draft Gonzalez. We still do have Max Christie. I am interested. What happens if I move one of them to the point guard spot? Like, does it completely hurt their overall? Christie goes down 2. Gonzalez goes down 2 as well. All right. That's probably not the best idea, so maybe we just find something else. Also a possibility. Wait, didn't I give Kessler Edwards a contract? I thought I gave him a real contract. All right, we'll figure out something. Some of you may get mad at me for this deal, but you have to think about it in the long-term picture. Now, I understand Caleb Martin, Najee Marshall, and I guess maybe Dwight Powell are all important role players for this team, but ultimately, this is more of just a 2K trade, because I know how well Robert Dillingham is going to progress. Of course, he's going to be under team control for this entire video, and although I think Najee Marshall, as I mentioned earlier, was a really nice signing for this team, I think we can move on from him confidently because of the depth we do have. So we're making this deal here. Rob Dillingham, welcome to the team. He, of course, will be our new backup point guard behind Kyrie Irving. At this point, either Max Christie or Hugo Gonzalez will move into that backup small forward spot behind OG Anunoby. So I don't know. Overall, for Christie goes up 2. Gonzalez, that's not what I was looking for. Gonzalez only goes up 1, so Max Christie will be my new backup small forward. So let me just take a look and see what we are working with here. In terms of depth, Leonard Miller, all due respect, probably not my favorite option at the backup power forward spot. What does happen? I swear to God, I signed Kessler Edwards to a real contract. All right, Kessler Edwards will be my backup power forward. A little bit undersized for center, and then we'll go ahead and sign somebody here behind Derek Lively. Luke Cornett, actually a really nice addition. All right. That's going to be it for the moves we make. I think we have nicely upgraded this team. You know, are we the best team in the West? I don't know if we're quite there yet, but I think this team has a really, really nice chance to be competitive next year. Now, year 1 here in Dallas. We have something going for us. I think we had a really nice offseason and put together a team that can definitely make some noise. The other good thing is that 2K absolutely loves the Dallas Mavericks, so I'm feeling pretty good. Kyrie Irving, Derek White, OG Anunoby, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively. A really, really elite 1 through 5. Bench unit will be led by Max Christie. Of course, made the trade for Rob Dillingham, who's already up to a 79. Brought in Luke Cornett to be the backup center. Hugo Gonzalez, we drafted, what, 14th overall, something like that? And then finally, Kessler Edwards will be my backup power forward. So I think this team has a serious chance to be not only one of the best teams in the West, but potentially win the conference, maybe even a championship. So I'll see you guys at the end of year number 1. As I mentioned, I'm very thankful that this game loves the Dallas Mavericks because we go 71-11. Certainly not what I was expecting for year 1, but I'll obviously take it. SGA, your MVP. Cooper Flagg ends up in New Orleans. He's your rookie of the year. James Harden is now a Charlotte Hornet. Really? You're chasing the bag at this point still? Walker Kessler wins Depoy. I feel like it's just always Wemby at this point. Risa Shea wins Most Improved. Steph Curry, Clutch Player of the Year. And they give Jason Kidd Coach of the Year. So again, really thankful 2K loves Dallas. Obviously, a lot more than the actual basketball gods do in real life, but we had a really, really great season. Kyrie was fantastic. Anthony Davis, Derek White, OG Anunoby, Dillingham, Lively, Christie, Gonzalez, Cornett, and then Edwards. Rebounding department, Anthony Davis. Assists going to be Derek White. So round 1, it's going to be us and the Pelicans. Of course, they drafted Cooper Flagg. They still have a pretty solid core in place, especially with Zion Williamson. So not the easiest first-round matchup in the world. Ultimately, not super nervous. So let's see what happens here. Quickly go up 2-0. They win Game 3 at home. We win Game 4. They also win Game 5. And we win the series in 6. Now, moving on to the Lakers. Can you imagine a playoff series? You know, hypothetically, if both these teams just somehow looked like this. And if pretend LeBron James was here, obviously. Luka and, you know, pretty solid squad. I'll give them that. They got P. Giddy coming off the bench. Reeves obviously still here. All right, let's see what happens. They, I would say, have the best player in the series. We dropped the first 2 at home, tie it up 2-2 as we go on the road, win Game 5 at home, win 4 straight, close them out in 6. Now, the Oklahoma City Thunder, as you would expect, are going to be our biggest challenge throughout this video. SGA won an MVP. There's an elite team next to him, so let's see what happens here in the West Finals. We are, okay, running them off their own floor. Win the series in 5. And it is a rematch of the 2024 NBA Finals. Of course, one of these, actually both are kind of looking a little different because we did go ahead and take Derek White and Sam Hauser and Luke Cornett from the Celtics. So maybe we got a fighting chance, man. Maybe we do. Let's see what happens here. Get a little bit of revenge for that 2024 series. And we're up 3-0 and we are on the verge of sweeping the Celtics. Thank God. Dude, I don't know what it is about Dallas that 2K loves. I don't know if it's something in the script of the game or whatever it is, but yeah, we're going to be getting this done here. This is still a 10-point game, so I got to focus a little bit. I can't just completely slack off, but what I'd like to do right now is talk about the Dallas Mavericks a little bit, as I pretty much always do with whatever team I'm rebuilding in these final situations. So, you know, when you look at the season ahead for Dallas, I thought they had a lot of nice momentum heading into last offseason. It sucks losing a finals. My team did it in 2022. I felt like the sky was falling, and I thought we were never going to be back. Even though we had a talented nucleus. What are you doing, Anthony? We had a talented nucleus, and it was, certainly a possibility that the Celtics would have been back. I didn't know that for a fact. I thought we blew the best chance we had had in a very long time. I'm sure Dallas fans felt the same way, but you had Luka Doncic, you had Kyrie Irving, you had a really talented team and a nice offseason. I thought Klay Thompson was a nice pickup. I didn't 100% know what Najee Marshall was going to be, but obviously he emerged as a really, really nice option for you. And you had a fighting chance. You really did. Obviously, Luka was injured. He came back. He was injured on Christmas, I think. He ended up coming back and being really, really good. And at this point, you kind of just, what the fuck? You had something moving forward. You did. I mean, you look at that Dallas team last year. Did anybody go into the playoffs last year being like, yeah, Dallas is not going to completely run over the West, but basically ran over the Western Conference? I don't know if anybody thought that was going to be the case. And for whatever reason, for, again, reasons that are beyond my realm of knowledge, Nico Harrison, what is his name? Patrick Dumbass, decided that Luka Doncic was not their face of their franchise moving forward, which was just such a horrible decision in hindsight. There's no way to, put that nicely. Even if Anthony Davis and Kyrie were both healthy, this team probably not only does make the playoffs, maybe they even make a little bit of noise, but there's no replacing Luka. It's just not going to happen. It was never going to happen, and I'll never understand it, man. I truly will not. So, Dallas fans, I genuinely am sorry. I cannot imagine what that would be like. The closest comp I would say for me would be my Celtics trading Jason Tatum, which I don't know what I'd do. I don't. I'd probably go find the new owner of the Celtics and Brad Stevens and throw them off the TD Garden. But other than that, I don't know. I genuinely do not know what Dallas fans are feeling right now. I even may quit watching basketball if I was in this situation, if I were you. Like, genuinely. I cannot imagine how painful it is. I really can't. And I do really genuinely apologize. Derek White, put him to sleep. Nope, not going to happen. This game's over. We end up getting a little bit of revenge for 2024. Anthony Davis does win Finals MVP. All right, the video, technically speaking, is already a success. So we are feeling good in that aspect of it, but we still have 2 more seasons to go. Oh, Klay did retire, so I guess I'm happy I traded him when I did. Okay. That Washington pick, which we certainly do not have, I almost know that for 100% fact. It actually fell to number 8, but we are going to go ahead and bring back Jason Kidd. He did a really nice job for me, so Jason Kidd, welcome back. Let's approach the draft where it is going to say we have the 8th overall pick, but let me go confirm the protections that Washington actually has on it. This is certainly not the first time this has happened, but there are about 1 million swaps and protections on this draft pick. So many to the point I can't even really comprehend. There's like 2 paragraphs here. And I'm trying to dissect it. It makes no sense. So I don't care that much. I'm just going to send the Wizards their pick back. I'll take a future first-round pick in like the final year, whatever it is. I don't know. This game is so bad with the protections, and I really, really wish it was a little bit better, but it's not. So, yeah. Again, I have no idea. It's fine. We have the 30th overall selection. Probably not getting anybody super impactful here. Elston Harrington appears to be the one and only guy who is a C overall. He's out of Harvard. Interesting. He's going to be a 71 overall. Probably not going to play. Lively, Dillingham, Leonard Miller, all will be brought back. Qualifying, we have none. And at this point, there's not going to be many major changes made to this squad. I swear to God, I re-signed Kessler Edwards last offseason. I think I will make 1 or 2 trades just to switch up the bench a bit. So I was looking at some trades, and I never found anything that I liked, and then I looked in free agency, and Keyshawn George was apparently released by the Washington Wizards. So I'm going to sign him. I have no idea why that he was sitting there, but that's perfectly fine by me and a very welcomed and nice upgrade in this starting or bench unit. So, yeah, that's strange. Shout out 2K, I guess. At this point, there's not really any other moves I have to make. I think Leonard Miller, I'll probably just move on from for a draft pick. I also could consider, like, if I moved him and Luke Cornett, is there any multi-year center? Zeke Naji, I don't really know. Probably nobody that's elite, like Drummond, but he's 32. Jacques Londale. I don't know, man. I don't really have to do this. Again, I'm just trying to find something, I guess. All right, so we'll just go ahead, move Leonard Miller for the draft pick. We'll end up hanging on to Luke Cornett. It's fine. I will see you guys at the start of year 2. Dare I say we won a championship last year with relative ease? It kind of felt like that's what happened. So we're basically running this thing back here for year 2 because why wouldn't we at this point? Starting 5 remains exactly the same with Kyrie Irving, Derek White, OG Anunoby, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively. Now, we are seeing a bit of regression in terms of the overall on Anthony Davis. I'm not worried about it. Bench unit is developing quite nicely. This is a young bench. Max Christie, Keyshawn George, who I still can't believe was just chilling in free agency, Rob Dillingham, Hugo Gonzalez, and finally Luke Cornett. So, yeah, man, that's the team. Again, not a lot of changes because we're really damn good. See you guys at the end of year number 2. Unfortunately, we do not go 71-11 again. We go 68-14. I'm not complaining. It's another great season. It's likely the best record in basketball. Anthony Edwards averaged 38 points a game throughout an 82-game season. Yep, that'll be the MVP. Cameron Boozer's in Philadelphia is your Rookie of the Year. Josh Giddey coming off the bench, now a member of the Detroit Pistons. Wemby is back winning DPOY. Scared me for a second last year with Kessler winning it. Liam McNeely, Most Improved. Cade Cunningham, Clutch Player of the Year. And it is back-to-back Coaches of the Year for Jason Kidd. Again, I'm very, very thankful in today's video that, oh my, relegate this conference. Relegate this. If a team wins a conference with 48 wins, no. Let's talk about some of the numbers here real quick for this squad. Kyrie still doing his thing. AD, Derek White, Anunoby, Lively, Dillingham, Christie, Gonzalez. You guys have eyeballs, you can see. Lively led us in boards. Derek White in assists. Okay, round 1. Us in San Antonio. Victor Wembanyama, not my favorite player to face in round 1. You got Stephon Castle. For some reason, they can't figure out a way to play De'Aaron Fox at the point guard spot next to Stephon Castle. So, the next logical move, obviously, would be to start Dennis Schroeder over him. Good work, 2K. All right, round 1 here. Battle of Texas. We are currently up 2-1 in this series. Make that 3-1. Make that 3-2. Okay, we end up winning the series in 6. We're moving on to the New Orleans Pelicans, who, of course, we faced in round 1 last year. Some nice development out of Cooper Flagg. Of course, still got Zion. Not the easiest opponent in the world. We are now down 2-0 after dropping the first 2 at home. We are now down 3-1. We force game 6 and lose game 6. Wow, that's disappointing, man. I thought that Pelicans team was good. Didn't think they were great. Derek White really stepped up. Not a great series out of Anthony Davis. Anunoby and Lively, obviously not really in the starting 5 for their scoring, but still I need a little bit more from them, especially Anunoby. He was 38, 39% from the field. That can't happen throughout a playoff series. So, tough ending to what was another really great regular season. What the fuck is going on with Anthony Edwards in this game? Okay. Congratulations. Yeah, Minnesota. All right. Final offseason time at this point. We are going to consider some changes. I don't suspect it'll be anything major because we're really good. We just had a bad series. So let's sim through the... Oh my God, that Charlotte pick is top 10 protected, isn't it? Yeah, it is. All right, which means we'll have a really valuable asset this offseason because their unprotected pick next year will be, a nice trade piece for us. We have no picks this year. That's fine by me. We'll skip over it. It's going to be Anthony Davis going unrestricted free agency. Max Christie, same as well. Certainly bringing back George. And, obviously getting Anthony Davis back and Derek Lively is a pretty big priority here. So Jokic is chilling here. We unfortunately don't have the money for him. But, got to make sure we get Anthony Davis back. Let's offer him a contract. Same with Derek Lively. Same with Max Christie. Hopefully I can afford all 3 of these guys. Because that, my friends, would be an absolute disaster. Okay, thank God. All right, let's make a trade. I don't know why, but I wanted to switch it up a little bit entering the final season. There really hasn't been any major trades since the first offseason, so this isn't an indictment on Derek White. He's fantastic and has been great for us, but he's entering his age 34 season. We may see a bit of regression, and ultimately adding a guy like De'Aaron Fox, who is an upgrade from Derek White, whether you believe that or not, is going to be nice for us. So Derek White, Elston Harrington, who of course we drafted in last year's selection, and then, Fox and Braden Burries, whoever the hell you are now members of the Dallas Mavericks. So we're going to end up playing Fox next to Kyrie. I think we will now find a way to find ourselves a new backup center. Of course, we did just acquire Braden Burries, so maybe move him somewhere for some sort of center. I don't know. Does anybody want to give me a center that's not a low 70 overall? Oso Ighodaro. Let me just take a look at centers making like $6 million or less. I know this is kind of tedious and probably ultimately not really necessary, but just a quick glance. Just want to see who's sitting here and who possibly fits into this category, who is, of course, not a free agent. Yves Missi, probably not going to happen. Dembona. Ighodaro might be our best option. Actually, is there a way I can get Missi? Because I think the value is, it's not super far off if I basically include every draft pick I have, because, of course, we're entering the final season anyways. So, possible? No. No. Wow. Okay. They must really like him. Dembona could be another nice option for me. We obviously have the draft capital to get this done, so let's just see. Thank you very much. All right, I'll see you guys at the start of the final regular season. Last year was another absolutely fantastic regular season, and then I think it's safe to say we choked in the playoffs, losing to the Pelicans in the Western Conference semifinals after a 68-win year. Just kind of unacceptable. So this offseason we made a move. Was it 100% necessary? Probably not, but these get kind of boring if I just continuously run it back with minor bench changes. So we made a big deal, adding De'Aaron Fox to play next to Kyrie Irving in our backcourt. Of course, still got OG Anunoby, Anthony Davis, who technically speaking is now down to an 89 overall. Then still got Derek Lively. Bench unit is absolutely elite. Derek Lively, Rob Dillingham, Max Christie, Keyshawn George, Dembona, and finally Hugo Gonzalez. So an all 80-plus overall rotation. See you guys at the end of the final regular season. This image hurts a bit right now. It hurts a bit. I'm not going to lie to you. Luka Doncic, his first career MVP. It is as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. We also go 68-14 once again, so I guess it doesn't hurt as much. Caleb Wilson, your rookie of the year. Gordon Amin, I almost said most improved. He's your sixth man. Wemby wins another DPOY. Cam Christie wins most improved. Luka also wins clutch player of the year, and it is 3 straight coaches of the year for Jason Kidd. All right, let's get into the standings. 10 games up on the Thunder. We had the best record in basketball for the 3rd straight year, and you guys are very much aware of the drill at this point. It is just championship time, and there's no other care in the world. It is us, oh boy, here in the Lakers in round 1. They've added Jabari Smith Jr. Well, I guess Luka's still playing with LeBron. All right, when do we get to the point where we just call Bronny LeBron? Because isn't he LeBron James Jr. technically? Like, he can't be Bronny forever, right? Can he? I don't know. We end up sweeping the Lakers, though, so that's obviously fun. Steph Curry still doing his thing at age 40. What are his numbers? I'm just curious. Jesus Christ. Fortunately for him, they have still not given him a lot of help, so I have a feeling we're going to beat this team, and we sweep them. Second straight sweep, and we just cannot avoid the New Orleans Pelicans. We have faced them for the 3rd straight time in the playoffs. They are a 7 seed, but I'd like to get a little revenge here. Yet to lose a playoff game, and it is us and the Miami... Come on. Jokic and Steve Kerr. They also have Scoot Henderson. Oh my God. How do you have the money for for fucking Jokic? Okay, well, this is scary. We finally lose a playoff game. We're up 3-1. We close them out. De'Aaron Fox looking like a very good trade. He wins finals MVP. All right, that caps this one off. A very interesting rebuild. Of course, we were, I would say not severely aided, but obviously got a lot of luck and a lot of help from 2K, just how much they, love this team, the algorithm loves this team, or whatever it is that makes Dallas like an OP squad in this game. And obviously that, certainly played within our favor here today. But a lot of fun with this one, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Dallas fans, again, I can't imagine, man. I said it earlier, I genuinely don't really ever feel bad for fan bases because, respectfully, fuck the rest of you. But this is a situation that it has to suck. It's so bad, man. Never in a million years is it going to make sense to me. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that there's any possible logical explanation to make me think that was a good trade, because it's not. So what if he's a little chunky? Look what he's putting up. All right, I got to stop. All right, man, that'll do it for me. As always, thanks so much for watching. I forgot my fucking outro. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.